Welcome to Boomer Bust. The show's just about to start, but I'm telling you, you gotta wait to the end. The end is phenomenal. You're just gonna love the little clip I have at the end. Best thing that's happened in football all season long. Who would have thought a year ago that Rodgers and Darnold would be the subject of a comparison like this come fantasy football playoff time? J.J. McCarthy was drafted by Minnesota. He was going to be the new up-and-coming star. We were all like, eh. And then the other one was Rodgers. Well, he had that injury, but it is Aaron Rodgers, and he is a star, and I'm sure he's going to be just fine, right? Yeah, so I got these two questions. One's more of a comment, and we'll get to that in a second, but the comment from Bill in Tulsa is just beautiful. It says, the New York Jets should be permanently banned from ever drafting a quarterback again. He's a Sam Darnold fan. Also, we've got Mario in Texas, and this is what I want to talk about to start with, the boomer bust thing. He has Aaron Rodgers and Sam Darnold and his fantasy football playoffs for this weekend, and his question is very simple. Do I start Rodgers or do I start Darnold? Well, my short answer to that is you start Sam Darnold. And the reason is because when I set up my team for the playoffs, I always go back 4 games and see what the trend is for that guy. Now, of course, last week he had 5 touchdowns and 35 points, and everyone's comparing him to this guy. Inside joke there. And Rodgers has been fairly consistent with his inconsistencies. Depending on how you rank your quarterback, or the scoring in your fantasy league, some quarterbacks get 4 points, others get 6. Rodgers and Darnold, the significant difference there is about 5 or 6 points a week has been the average difference between Darnold and Rodgers. Now, it hasn't been every week. There's been weeks where Rodgers has had 20 and Darnold has had like 6. I mean, 5 weeks ago he had 0 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions against Jacksonville, and everyone was ready to throw him to the wolves, But since then, he's come back, and the last 4 games for Darnold, I've got the stats here. He's 4-0. I mean, he's actually won 6 in a row. He's thrown 11 touchdowns in those games, no interceptions. So basically, 3 touchdowns a game is the average. He's averaging 289 yards a game. And when you put all that together, that's about 24, 25 fantasy points a week. And it's pretty consistent. And it's going to probably stay about the same. Even if it drops off a little, that's okay. On Rodgers' end of it, it hasn't been quite as phenomenal. So for Rodgers to get into that 20-25, he's got to have a really good game. And will he have a really good game? Will he even finish the season? Will they start using Tyrod Taylor? See, I've got teams where I've got Rodgers, and I'm hoping he finishes the season. But a couple of weeks ago, I kind of got this inkling that he would rather be doing that than playing football. So I've got Tyrod Taylor hanging around on the bench just in case Rodgers decides, or the team decides, that Rodgers can't play on that wonky foot. I had an Achilles tendon injury. I ripped mine. It took 2 years. And you ask Cam Akers, you ask Dante Foreman, it takes a while to come back from that injury. And it's a lot of trust issues with your leg and all the different things. But I'm telling you, Rodgers, if he plays next year, I do want him on my fantasy team. I'm not sure what's happening with Darnold next year, but the former 3rd overall pick, and here we go, this is Bill, is doing a phenomenal job after he spent some time with a quarterback guru in San Francisco. Now, look at who else has been sort of hanging around over the years that the Jets have drafted. 2013, Geno Smith. Where is he now? He's in his 3rd year, I believe, with Seattle, and doing just fantastic. He's making his receivers look pretty good, isn't he? Right? Yeah, that was a 2nd-round pick. You also had Zach Wilson, 2nd overall. These guys that are drafted 2nd and 3rd overall, they're not chump change. They may not be starters right away, but Zach Wilson in New York with the bright lights and stuff, that was a recipe for disaster. So now he's in the Rockies, in Denver. And nobody knows who he is, and he's hiding on the bench, and he's practicing, and he's learning, and he's watching, and Sean Payton has him, and he's molding him into a quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if, Zach Wilson a year or 2 down the road is like Sam Darnold, a starter somewhere in the National Football League. Because also look at it this way. So far this year, it's down a little bit. Only 48 quarterbacks have started a game in the NFL this year. But there have been 66 that have thrown a pass. Last year, there was 66 that started a game. The year before that was 68. So this is actually a pretty good year. But when you consider there's 66 guys that have thrown a pass, not just a kneel down, but thrown a pass this year in the NFL, you know that having extra quarterbacks on your bench is probably the smart thing to do. So if you have Darnold, go get Danny Dimes if he's available on waivers. And if you have Rodgers, go get Tyrod Taylor. So, but as far as the New York Jets never drafting another quarterback, well, they haven't really done all that great with a free agent quarterback. Although you gotta be fair, you know, no one wishes harm on anybody, and he did wreck his leg last year. And I got a feeling that if Rodgers does play next year, that he will do quite a lot better than he's playing this year. But, you know, for the moment, I say Sam Darnold is definitely the guy that you want to start in your fantasy playoffs. You know, hopefully I'm right, and that's good information. Now, this is the best part of the show, right? Okay, my opinion. I laughed so hard when I saw this. This guy is the fan of the year in the National Football League. I don't care. He is the fan of the year for this. Watch this. That is brilliant. You know, the Green Bay Packers are cheeseheads. He's wearing an iron brick on his head. He's got a cheese grater. And I hope, I don't know if I'm right on this or not, but I heard they got kicked out of the game because he had the cheese grater with him, which could have been a weapon. He could have hurt somebody with it. If I was Detroit management, I would have him at the game. I would have him high up on a pedestal with a huge, giant cheese grater, doing that next time Green Bay comes to town. I wouldn't have kicked him out. I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know. You kick him out. What do you think? I think that's kind of silly. But just one more time. There you go. That just sets it right perfect for me. Now, please subscribe, like, love, comment, send me an email, say hi. Hope you have a great weekend of football. I'll see you soon. I'm CJ.